Well, hey, it's Joy with Decor Made with Joy here in Franklin, Tennessee. And this is part of our series of making a basic grapevine. So far, let's see, we have talked about our inspiration to get us going. We talked about that being this pick here. We'll talk about that some more. We greened up our base. We made our bow. We added our bow. And now we're going back in and start adding our florals. You know, you could take this same design where we are now, and you don't have to have a pick. You could start adding florals to it in orange and the teal. That would be really pretty. The picks kind of, I would say, for a beginner, make it easier. It kind of puts things together for you, and you've got one piece. So this pick I mentioned I got from Craft Outlet. This is how it comes, all bunched in there together. The item number is 156637, but it comes just like this. 2 pumpkins on it, some leaves, some berries, and eucalyptus. I really like this pick, but I'm not going to use it just like it is in the, sometimes we cut a pick up, sometimes we shape it, and that's what I have been doing, is shaping this where I want it to go on the lower part of this wreath. They all come with big long stems, and you almost always cut off the stems. You don't use that much stem. We don't need all that. And even to put them in your buckets on your wall, sometimes I have to trim them off. They're just too long. So that's probably the first thing we're going to do, is trim this thing off with my wire cutters. Just clip it right off. So I've left a short stem. Now I'm going to dry run it. In other words, before I ever dip it in the glue, I'm going to stick this thing in and see where I want it. And it's roughly going to go there. Let me pull this camera around so you can see that, how pretty that is. Now we're going to add other things in with that, but that, you could just leave it like that. That would be pretty. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down here in a second. And you know, if it's too floppy, we can add some security points here, either with floral wire, bond wire, more glue, zip ties. You can, designers have a lot of little tricks in our arsenals to hold that down. Okay, so we're ready to start gluing this in. And so we're going to dip this end in my glue pot, let the excess drips drip off, and then we're going to place this up in between our grapevine and really push it in there. Oops. Pull this camera around where you can see. See how I placed that right there? Really covers up a lot of the greenery that we had as our base layer. It doesn't go up under the bow. We're going to add something else up under there, but that's how it looks. Is it secure enough? I'm going to let it dry and then I'll decide. Okay, this is plenty dry enough. And I don't think it is secure enough for my taste. So I'm going to take a black zip tie. I had a smaller green, it would also work, but you won't be able to see this. So I'm going to zip tie this stem down here to the lower part just for an added insurance security. So I fed one side in, made sure that we're going around the stem, and grab each end and feed it through. And then zip tie it down. You hear that? I'm just pulling it tight. Now look how secure that is. And I'll just trim off that little excess tail, and that is, hide that with some of that greenery, and that is going nowhere. So nice solution for that is to zip tie that end there. Now we could start adding other things to this, but I need to cover up this here. And the nice thing about this particular pick, they had a smaller version of that. That is going to be perfect to go right up under there. And let me give you the item number on that. It is 15, I should wear my readers, 156537. And the other was 156637. This one is 156537. Okay? So that's just going to be perfect there. So I'm going to trim off my tag, start fluffing it out. I don't think I need quite as big a curve in there as I had, but I'm going to trim off excess stem, and I usually cut it on an angle. One little pro tip, if your paper starts coming loose, that will burn you. So before you dip it in glue, trim that paper off. This one, the other one did drip or peel. This one is going to a little bit. So I'm going to peel some paper off. You're not going to see that anyway because it's going to be fed up through the grapevine. So let's dry run this. If I take it right up under my bow, that looks really good. Let me take the camera around so you can see. Oh, and there you go. Okay, since we dry runned it, liked how it looked, we're going to go ahead and dip it in our glue pot. Let it drip off. And then insert up under our bow. And then we'll just, arrange and fluff how we want it. Get the berries positioned where we want them. All right. Next thing we're going to do is do the same thing to the top. And I'm taking my stem, the big one, and bending it like the shape that I want, clipping the tag off, that will be good. I will go ahead and trim this stem off. Cut it on an angle. Dip that in glue, let it drip off. Pull my bow back and insert near the entrance to the bow. And again, we'll probably take a zip tie up there, but it is already looking kind of full. All right, now this is where your artistry comes in. You know, you can add more florals. You could leave this as is, step back. Sometimes I'll get it to this point and I'll just what I call stare at it a while. But like this is a choice here, a little small ranunculus bundle that I got from Ashland. I guess that's Michael's. That looks pretty there. I will probably add that around. I've got some little teal flowers. So just add in what your eyes tell you that's going to look good. And we'll play around with this a little bit. All right, here's some things that we could use that I got from Jam Supply and Design. This eucalyptus has kind of our cream and our orange, and you know, we could cut that up and blend that throughout. I'm not really sure we need it, but I wanted to show that to you. This also came from Jam. It's a teal floral. Kind of pretty. Not sure about that one either. And I've just got this greenery plastic grass bush in all the fall colors that we could add in. Definitely like that with these orange leaves. So this again, there's no right and wrong. You just use your artistic eye to decide what to add. Okay, I have decided to add a few punches of this orange around. A little mini ranunculus. That one will drape on down. This one I did not glue in. It's somewhat of a pusher, and so push the leaves all the way up, dip it in, let it drip off, and add that in. You could even just use an orange 60919 just to add a little punch of orange. But I happen to have these little mini ranunculus. Not going to add a lot, but I think those are pretty. Add one over here. Coming down off that bow. Very pretty. Okay, so I did add some ranunculus coming out of the bow to kind of cover up the zip tie there. I added one here at the top, and that covers up. I did add a zip tie around the stem, and I'll add one more right up here. And dip, drip, take the camera around so you could see where we are. So that's coming along really pretty. Definitely got to work on the bow a little bit. May need to trim off some of that at the bottom. And now I'm just going to look at it a while longer to see if there's anything else that I need to add. Like, do I need some more teal in there? Got quite a bit. That pick had some eucalyptus in a teal. It had berries in a teal. And I think adding a little bit of orange flowers that we did is really pretty, but we'll just stare at this a little bit longer. The next step is going to be adding a hanger. You see I can hang it from the grapevine, but I always take it one step further and add a hanger in the back, and I'll make a video on that. One last thing for this video, for these couple of little pieces of greenery that I had left, I'm going to place them behind the bow to kind of support that bow a little bit. And that's just what it looks like coming up out of there. And I've got, looks like 2 more pieces. So I will support my bow really well with these extra pieces of greenery. Dip, drip, shake, and insert. One last piece, dip, drip, tap, so that's what the back of the bow ends up looking like, nice and supported. Come around front, bow is real stable, just got to straighten it up. And let me back off with the wreath. I think that's really pretty. We will stare at it a little bit longer and make a decision on anything else.